Why can't you have babies in the chamber?
Well, I think let's go back to first principles here. We are, in the House of Commons, debating some of the most important matters that can possibly be debated. I mean, I know occasionally some of the debate is a bit farcical, but on the whole, we are debating incredibly important matters in a very febrile environment with noise and with heckling and with... It's almost theatrical at times. And the question the committee put, and this is a cross-party committee of members, was, is this a suitable environment to have very young children? And I suppose my argument would be, whilst I actually don't have a problem if a very small child is in there, not causing any trouble, not causing any noise, you know, I think we can all see that this can happen. And with discretion from the chair, that can be made possible. But would you want to? Surely we want to be in a situation where new parents, those MPs who are parents, and, you know, it's actually quite recent that MPs have started having babies on the job, shall we say, but surely we want them to be able to enjoy those first few weeks and months with their child away from that febrile atmosphere. That's why we have proxy votes for them. That's why we support them with additional funding from IPSA for additional staff costs.
But of course, being an MP is a different job to virtually any other job. You can't sort of pass it on to somebody else to do these things. If you want to speak in a debate, you've got to do it yourself. You can't ask somebody else to do it for you if you want to ask a question. So if you're a young woman and you've just had a baby and you're desperate to speak in a debate that affects your constituency and all the rest of it, and you're not allowed, and you're breastfeeding, and you're not allowed to bring your baby into the chamber, what are you expected to do?
Well, like I say, it's not prevented. There's nothing to stop. What the guidance says is that it shouldn't be the norm for you to have a baby in the chamber with you. But if you're in that situation, and this is the debate that you have to take part in, and one of the problems we did have with the proxy voting system we've got at the moment is that you can't actually take part in a debate if you're on a proxy vote. We've said as a committee that should stop. That if you're on a proxy vote, that shouldn't impact whether you take part in a debate in the House of Commons. So we're saying you can, and if you speak to the Speaker in advance and you explain why there's no alternative and you have to be there and you feel it's appropriate for your child to be there with you, then the Speaker can grant that discretion. There's nothing to stop that from happening. But I think the view on the committee, and as I say, is cross-party, but it shouldn't become the norm, that this is a workplace and we don't expect our constituents don't expect to have their babies, whether they're on the checkout or whether they're working in a court of law or whether they're in a factory. They don't have their babies strapped to them. In fact, what we want and what parents have fought for years is really good maternity rights, so you don't have to.
I suppose Sorry.
I was just going to say, you know, Stella Creasy was saying we're behind the times, you're setting out a bad message to women who might want to come into Parliament, you're just not in the modern world.
Well, I would say that in the modern world, what you want is proper maternity leave. And the one issue that, and Philip, you've alluded to this, constitutionally, nobody can speak in the House of Commons chamber apart from an elected member. And that then means that members who are unable to speak because they might have long-term sickness conditions, or if they're ministers, they, of course, can't speak on their constituency issues in the House of Commons chamber. But we find ways to get round that, don't we? I remember as a minister when incidents happened in my constituency that I wanted to be referred to, my neighbours would stand up and say something. I'd go and sit with them and they would make ask a question on my behalf, effectively. They would make a point of order. They would make it clear that I couldn't speak as the minister, but they could say that for me. These things can be accommodated, but apart from that bit of the job, actually, everything else can be covered by another person. We have got an extra £62,000 that IPSA gives you a year to pay for additional staff cover, and that person can do every other aspect of your job apart from
was Stella out of touch? Was she really out of touch with what she was saying?
I love Stella to bits, and I'm not going to get into whether, you know, what Stella's campaign is about. We looked at this as a committee. We took evidence, and it was quite clear that the view of the House of Commons, from the evidence we received, was that there wasn't a desire to change the rules at this time. Now, we hope, because this report also looks at whether we should extend proxy votes to people with long-term sick, we hope the government will bring a debate forward. We hope we can have a vote on that, and there's nothing to stop someone amending that motion. And if the House disagrees with the committee, they can.
just, I mean, I suppose lots of people will say, well, look, I go to work, I've got to get childcare for my child, I can't take them into the workplace and whatever. And why should MPs be any different? I mean, are the childcare facilities in Parliament good enough for that?
Well, they've improved a lot. So what we did find in the report, in our work, was that the creche that's on site, which most workplaces don't have an on-site creche, is able to take children up till the end of the day. They actually have provision for children to be in there until we finish voting, and they can take children at short notice. We would like to see more flexibility in that creche, and we'd also like there to be more flexibility. But you know, in the Commons there's a family room, there are facilities for feeding in just about every changing room, and when we talk about our washrooms, what we really mean is very nice sitting rooms that we can go and sit in. There's baby changing facilities, I believe, even in the gents. So, you know, there is an awful lot.
So we've accommodated for that, but at the end of the day, the report was, this is not the place for babies.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.